A deafening silence followed the roar, a stark reminder of what happens when we ignore the ticking clock. This isn't just about one bridge, it's about a systemic rot that guarantees more failures, and you're paying the price for it. Right now, our nation's infrastructure is crumbling. The American Society of Civil Engineers gave us a C grade, a label that screams neglect and underfunding. This grade isn't an opinion, it's a financial forecast of disaster. This C grade means we're failing to maintain essential systems, from roads and bridges to water pipes. It signifies a $3.7 trillion gap between what we need and what we're investing. Let me show you how this gap guarantees future collapses. Think about the immediate aftermath of a collapse, the tragic loss of life, the economic paralysis. But the true cost is far deeper, woven into the fabric of our economy through liability, insurance claims, and lost productivity. This isn't a new problem. For decades, we've seen the pattern: underfunding, deferred maintenance, and a reliance on patchwork fixes. Each missed deadline, each budget cut, adds another crack to the foundation. The financial reality is harsh. Investing in robust infrastructure isn't an expense. It's an investment with massive ROI. Conversely, neglecting it creates liabilities that dwarf the initial savings, creating a debt for future generations. Let's rewind to understand the origin of this decay. For years, infrastructure spending has lagged behind population growth and economic demand. This isn't a recent oversight. It's a slow, deliberate disinvestment. During the mid-20th century, infrastructure was a national priority, funded robustly. We built an incredible network, but as priorities shifted and budgets tightened, the reinvestment cycle faltered, setting the stage for today's crisis. The pattern is undeniable. When maintenance budgets are slashed, the structural integrity of our assets degrades. Cracks appear, corrosion sets in, and stress points are ignored until it's too late. This is not a bug, it's the design of neglect. The recent bridge collapses are not anomalies. They are the predictable outcome of decades of underfunding and a C-grade reality. You're seeing the system work as intended. Consider the insurance industry's perspective. They see these failures as inevitable risks. Increased claims mean higher premiums for everyone, even those whose communities are well maintained. It's a hidden tax on your financial security. The economic impact of a single major infrastructure failure is staggering. Beyond immediate repairs, think about supply chain disruptions, business closures, and the long-term loss of economic competitiveness. Let me show you the mechanism. A bridge rated C suggests significant deterioration, requiring urgent repair. Yet funding often fails to materialize, pushing it towards D and eventual failure, a cascading effect. This decline is a financial death spiral. As conditions worsen, repair costs skyrocket. What could have been fixed for millions now requires billions, or worse, a complete replacement after a catastrophic event. The regulatory framework is supposed to prevent this, but it's often outpaced by the scale of the problem. Reporting requirements can be met without demanding actual, tangible improvements, creating a false sense of security. This is where liability economics takes center stage. Who pays when the bridge falls? Taxpayers, insurance policyholders, and businesses suffer. The cost of inaction is always greater than the cost of action. We've seen this pattern repeat in countless ways. Think of the water main breaks in aging cities or the power grid failures during extreme weather. Each is a symptom of the same underlying neglect. The data is clear. Countries and cities that prioritize infrastructure investment see stronger economic growth and higher quality of life. It's not just about convenience. It's about fundamental economic health. Yet the political will to address this $3.7 trillion gap often falters. Short-term budget cycles and the desire for immediate gratification overshadow the long-term, essential needs of our infrastructure. This disconnect between need and action is the core of the problem. We know what needs to be done, but the political and economic incentives are misaligned, leading to more C grades and more collapses. But here's the critical part. The cost of fixing this isn't just monetary. It's also about the erosion of public trust when essential services fail repeatedly. Your safety and security are directly compromised. This is why infrastructure investment ROI is so crucial. Every dollar spent on preventative maintenance saves multiples in future repair costs and avoids catastrophic losses. It's a simple, yet often ignored, economic principle. You might think this doesn't directly affect you, but it does. Higher insurance premiums, increased commute times, and the risk of personal danger are all consequences you experience daily. The recent bridge collapses are stark warnings. They are not random acts of nature. They are the inevitable consequences of a system designed for failure through underinvestment and neglect. Let's look at the numbers. Billions are spent annually, but a significant portion goes to patching rather than rebuilding. This reactive approach is financially unsustainable and incredibly dangerous. The insurance industry is acutely aware of this growing risk. They model these potential failures, and their underwriting reflects the increasing probability of claims, driving up costs for infrastructure projects. This isn't about assigning blame. It's about understanding the economic forces at play. The incentives are often misaligned, prioritizing short-term savings over long-term stability and public safety. What you need to understand is that this C-grade rating is a financial warning. It tells investors, insurers, and taxpayers that a significant risk is present and likely to materialize. The cycle of neglect is hard to break. Politicians often face pressure to fund visible projects rather than the less glamorous but more critical maintenance and upgrades. But here's the twist. Deferring maintenance doesn't save money. It merely delays the inevitable and dramatically increases the final costs, often measured in lives lost. Consider the ripple effect of a major collapse. Local businesses suffer, supply chains are disrupted, and emergency services are strained, creating a cascade of economic and social costs. You are already paying for this neglect through higher taxes, increased insurance premiums, and longer travel times. The bill for deferred maintenance is coming due, and it's expensive. The infrastructure gap isn't just a number. It represents potential danger lurking beneath the surface of our daily lives. It's a ticking financial and safety time bomb. This pattern repeats across various sectors: aging power grids, failing water systems, and outdated transportation networks. All are victims of the same economic realities. What makes this dangerous today is the increasing frequency of extreme weather events. These events put immense stress on already weakened structures, accelerating their failure. The economic argument for proactive investment is overwhelming. Studies consistently show that for every dollar invested in infrastructure, the return in economic activity is significant, but the political will to fund these essential upgrades remains elusive. Short-term thinking and budget constraints often win over long-term necessity and safety. This is the core dilemma: a system that financially penalizes proactive investment while rewarding neglect until disaster strikes. It's a broken incentive structure. So, what should you take from this? First, understand that infrastructure ratings are a financial indicator of risk. A C grade means significant deterioration and potential failure. Second, realize that deferred maintenance is a false economy. The cost of inaction always exceeds the cost of proactive investment, both financially and in human lives. Third, demand accountability. Support policies that prioritize long-term infrastructure health over short-term budget savings. Your safety and economic future depend on it. The truth is, the bridges and roads you use every day are a reflection of our collective priorities. When those priorities are misaligned, the consequences can be devastating. If this has opened your eyes to the real cost of our infrastructure gap, subscribe because our next video will explore the $1 trillion housing crisis. How is it connected? Do you think your local infrastructure is safe? Let me know your thoughts below. The pattern of neglect is clear, and the consequences are becoming undeniable. Investing in our infrastructure isn't just practical, it's essential for our survival. This is the economic reality of a C-grade world. Ignoring it means accepting more failures, more disruptions, and a higher cost for everyone. Stay informed, stay vigilant. The foundations of our society are more fragile than you think. Don't let the next collapse be a surprise. Understand the economics, Demand action.